Welcome to episode 7 of New Horizons. That's being recorded anyway. And let's start with a brief recap of last week's session. Our intrepid crew continued following the tracks of the Urallan resistance fighters that had revealed themselves quite explosively, and plotted out a course to carefully avoid Tabukans while trailing them. Ended up managing to intercept a Tabukan drone and then observe as the Uralans executed an ambush on the Tabukan patrol that got sent out to squash them. And then that turned pretty sour against the Uralans, as might have been expected. You spied on the aftermath and saw a couple of bodies being carted away. Noted some odd findings, the lack of any sort of ID on the fighters that were killed, and watched the column make its way back to the base. Then you waited around a while for things to cool off, and then headed back out to find some food and also nose around Glad Hand and try to find out some information about the whereabouts of the Resistance. And you got a lead thanks to Brother Nick and his particularly charismatic self. Someone suggested you go to a certain apartment building and talk to an Eric Swanson about radios. That's where we left off. I miss anything?
Don't think
Other
so.
than Rainbow Unicorn Cakes being the official Urallan snack cake
Yep.
of choice.
Yep. That's important.
Yeah, it turns out that every planet has a
An official
specific
snack. Yeah.
endorsed snack cake.
It's sort of like, like this national anthem or
Mhm,
flag. They also have a
exactly.
snack cake. Yeah.
Got the state bird, state mammal, state
Mhm.
snack cake.
Yep.
It's just part
Well,
of the deal.
I'll have to start noting them down.
Planetary.
hmm
Because these are important.
Very.
I mean, Nero better be keeping notes.
It's like the one thing Nero dedicates part of her brain to.
Because I can think what else she would keep notes on.
Weapons.
True.
Yeah, she still wants that wind cutter sword.
Oh, she really wants butter, yes.
Mhm.
Very bad. The thirst is real.
Or any artifact weapon. Because, she held one. She held one so dear. And it was cruelly ripped away from her.
Didn't
Cruelly.
even
By
get
a
to cut
heartless
anything with
GM.
it.
No,
I mean,
she didn't.
world.
I mean, we could always ask you know who for help getting another one, but I don't think we want that debt. Anyway.
Hey, there's nothing to be said about debt. That's very
What's
presumptive of
something
you to
owed
say.
between friends?
No, I'm.
Yeah.
That's very presumptive of you to say that she would give you anything on basically
Credit?
on a loan, yeah, or on credit. Uh, I don't think
Cade's
you
not
have.
used to hearing no.
I
I
don't think
don't
you have that level of rapport with them yet.
I don't think he was saying that so much as when she was talking to us, it sounded like everything that that she would offer came with some kind of expectation of, but you're gonna do something for me later.
Yes, alternative payment is what I had
Yeah.
as my
Mm.
concern. Credits is one thing, but she, whatever, was
We were
definitely
not told how
interested
she
in what we
identifies.
Yes, that was not clearly identified.
Nobody checked under the hood?
Nobody gave us pronouns.
Nobody identified with pronouns, and we weren't even close enough to do that. So hey,
Yeah, I was gonna
That's
say
also
we
true.
just met. Okay, I don't ask to look under the hood until like dinner or something.
I was gonna say that probably would not have gone over super well.
I'm pretty sure it would not have.
So moving on
Yep.
before we get into robotic dating etiquette tonight on New Horizons.
They did
Where are we
seem
going?
interested in Nero.
Hmm. So, yeah, that's one way to go for Nero's interests. Seed has been planted. All right. Yeah, back to Urala. What doing next?
Think we're gonna see a man about a radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Brother
think
Nick worked hard on that.
Okay. Yeah, the address, as a reminder, was just a few blocks away, so it's just a short walk of a few minutes to get over there if you want to go straight there.
Do we want to go straight there?
I don't know. I just had food poisoning.
Oh, that's right. Oh no.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I kind of did too.
I think that might lead Brother Nick to call it. Say hopefully that can keep until tomorrow.
Yeah, speaking of which, let's see here. It's about noon. So now you guys did just leave a store. They very likely could have some over-the-counter medicines.
Could Saoirse just heal him? Just like put a hand on his back and
I think she possibly could. Let's see.
is
She
that going to
has.
require effort?
Let me double check. Where
Wait a
is-
minute. Real quick question.
Hmm.
Are Brother Nick and Saoirse on good terms right now?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Yeah. How is this gonna help?
No, it's not. It's a question of whether or not Saoirse would help.
Oh.
That's why I'm asking.
Oh
Oh,
well.
sorry. I thought you were saying narrow. I thought you said narrow. I was
No,
like,
no.
I don't know. What are you gonna have narrow do?
No, Saoirse and Brother
Well,
Nick.
now hold on. Now this depends. It sounds like what would matter for whether or not Saoirse would do anything was how Saoirse views Brother Nick right now.
Mm-hmm.
How he is feeling towards her may or may not be relevant in this case.
Mm.
Um, does she still feel like he? I know it's been a day and change now since the big argument over the drugs, but despite his disagreement, he did end up helping her put together a little capsule to hold it in her arm.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. Thank you. That's why I was asking because I honestly could not remember like what had happened in between
Mhm.
the argument and now. All right.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, let's see. You'll have to commit one effort for the day.
All right. She'll lean over and whisper in his ear once he's done heaving. Maybe he's just like dry heaving at this point. And she'll lean in real close, patting his back, and she'll say, "Hey, do you foresee me needing to have an emergency heal later, or would you just like me to zap you with the feel goods right now? Because if not, you could spend some credits at the store over there, but don't know if it'll do the job." So she's basically trying to ask him, do you want me to heal you, or do you want me to go spend money on a medicine right now?
Yeah, so I think once he can compose himself, he'd say that be helpful. Probably want to meet with this Eric as soon as possible.
All right, she's gonna whack him on the back one last time while he's bent over there heaving, and just basically a rush of healing is just gonna, almost like ice water, is just gonna burst through his chest very quickly.
Burst is not the word that you exactly want to hear.
Rush. How about that? It will rush through him.
That sounds a little nicer.
All right. This is very, very fast. Okay. Do I need to? What do I need to click for this? Oh my stars!
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
And of
Just
course, the
push through
the
Ahoy.
alien reference.
I'd never
Oh my
seen the
word.
version with John Travolta popping out.
Oh my word. So anyway, what do I need to roll?
That's even funnier.
You actually don't need to roll anything because you're not. He's full health anyway.
Okay,
You just
cool.
have to commit 1 effort for the day.
Okay, neat.
Mark that.
Find my
And
effort.
Brother Nick needs to take 1 system strain.
Okay. Oh shoot.
Nero
So
looks
yeah,
at Brother Nick and Saoirse viciously.
yeah. Brother Nick is feeling. Well, his stomach is back to normal. He might still have a bad taste
You
in his
alright there,
mouth.
Nick?
Yes, he'd be straightening up, just making sure his beard's all clean.
Alright, that was a bad dose of it there. Looking a bit brutal.
Yes, probably want to be more selective with our future cuisine.
Saoirse's gonna see Nero watching her very closely and just smile as widely as she can. And wiggle her eyebrows at her.
Here we go now.
Oh yeah. Anytime Brother Nick is done being a Hames, then we're good.
A what?
It means being a complete mess, basically. Like
Oh,
a Hames.
Yeah. Nero
Okay.
doesn't understand that either, but she has given up trying to understand many of the words that Saoirse uses.
I mean, Kane would look cross-eyed and literally said, "What? A what?"
A mess?
Oh,
Why don't you just say a mess?
Oh, I don't know. I think I just like seeing the look of confusion on your faces when I'm speaking plain English.
None of that is English.
Ah,
Or
and it's all
plain.
the better for it. Are we leaving
Weird.
yet? Not exactly the one hiding claws in my arms.
Oh, sorry, I missed what she said last.
She said I'm not exactly the one hiding claws in my arms.
That's not weird, it's awesome.
Whatever helps you sleep at night. Now, are we going or not?
Claws in my arms help me. I always have a weapon.
Oh, my stars. Nero, can it? Nick, where are we going?
So pull up the address. Point the way.
All right. Now, Nanny Nero, if you're done throwing shapes at me over here, then maybe we can get on our way.
Yeah, she doesn't understand that again, and she just says, okay.
Perfect. All right, so we move on.
Yeah, so the group sets out on a brief walk. And a few minutes later, they come up to the apartment building in question. They can try to buzz in.
1 second. Okay, back. So we try to buzz in.
Yeah, so you can try to buzz in, and the apartment you buzz, you get a response. Hello, who's this?
Saoirse's gonna like shoulder brother Nick up to the front.
Yeah. So press the. Is it like one of those little speaker box things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So press the speaker button. Yeah. Yes. Hello. I heard from a friend of mine that Eric Swanson is here and sells radios.
Who was that?
Oh, yeah, I guess Brother Nick would offer the name of the person who told him at the grocery store.
Okay. There's silence for a moment. He said, "I sell radios."
Believe that's what he had indicated, said emergency or shortwave radios, that we might be able to find them here.
Mm,
Hey,
Maybe,
Ben. While
Oh.
this is going on, can we make sure that Nero and Saoirse are keeping a lookout?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
He'll ask, "You got anything other than money to pay with?" Doesn't do much good these days.
Boy, what a creep.
oh, I'm about to try to quickly cover the box.
Nick, if he asks you for any foot pics, just tell him no. You can have your dignity. It'll be fine. We'll figure a way out.
Nero gives another one of those, did she just say something that I don't understand looks over to Saoirse,
Yeah.
and then looks away, as she has learned to do.
Cade will just pretend he heard nothing.
Guess Brother Nick will take stock of what all he brought. See, thinking if there's anything good to trade. I guess he'll offer have a few extra compads and some spare parts we aren't using, and I'm good with tools myself. If I could trade some repair work.
Hmm. Fine. And you hear the little click and the buzz of the door being unlocked. So you're now free to enter the apartment building and make your way to his door.
Neato. Do Susha and Nero see anything like as they're keeping a watch?
They have not noticed anything out of the ordinary.
Okay. Cool.
Cade will
If
definitely task the drone to monitor the outside of the building while they're in there.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I guess on the way up, Brother Nick would pass those compads to Cade. They could make sure these are clean. Wouldn't want to be handing over any intel to a stranger. Strange.
All right.
Where did these
Cade will.
compads come from?
I think these are just the collecteds of us beating up people.
Oh, okay, got you.
I think a few of these or two are from Lightning Logistics. Brother Nick had taken one from some goon at some. Oh yeah, a couple of the Sons of Glory guys when they jumped us at the hotel.
Blast from the past.
These have been just bumping around in his backpack.
Nice.
Yeah, he'll initiate a wipe on those.
Okay. So y'all make your way into this apartment building, which does still have power. And the room that you're going to is actually 2 levels down. Looks like this building has almost as many floors below ground as it has above. And so you come to his door, and you can knock, and he'll the door will open a crack uh, after you hear a few loud clicks on the other side, and there's a you notice a couple of those like security chains across doors uh, as he peeks through, and he's eyeing and seeing how many. There's a lot of you. I don't think you'll all fit inside.
Oh, promise we don't take up much room at all.
He's just eyeing you. I've only got 3 seats.
Oh, we're accustomed to standing. It'll be grand.
Okay. He'll close the door. You hear a couple other clinks of metal on metal, and then the door opens. And he steps back into his living room and motions towards his couple of extra chairs. It's a somewhat sparsely furnished room, but everything is fairly neat. Please come in.
Thank you kindly. Saoirse will go ahead and step in, looking around. She'll be trying to figure out exactly what kind of radio parts she might recognize, if any. She's going to be looking more for like weapons or anything like that.
Okay.
She's not exactly feeling like radios is what this guy is in the business of, or at least not the full scope of his business.
So you don't see any weapons immediately, or actually radio parts either. You can go ahead and give me a notice check if you'd like.
Sure. Everybody ready for me to roll out my bad rolls for the night?
Sure.
All right.
I'd like Nero to roll notice also when she enters, but so that we're not just getting 2 chances at the same check. She'll be looking for slightly different things.
Okay. What slightly different things is Nero looking for?
She's looking more to see if there's any telltale signs of monitoring equipment, like if we're being recorded, or if there are turrets hidden in the wall. You know, dangers to us physically, or in not physically, but compromisingly.
Okay.
Roll.
Yeah, go ahead and roll. That's fine.
I'm sorry. So, as soon as you said telltale, all I could think was the if still you think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of my body. From Poe's A Telltale Heart.
Okay. So, yeah, Saoirse's looking around. She doesn't spot any anything in this room to even indicate that the guy works on radios, much less sells them. And Nero does find she happens to notice in the far corner of the room up at the ceiling a very small camera.
um, who is closest to her right now?
Could we get like a small doodle of a map?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let's
It really does help.
You gotta make a gridless
Okay.
grid, Ben.
Hmm.
But you gotta make a gridless grid. Oh, I keep forgetting you basically did do that over here.
Hmm.
You want us to just use the Urala box?
Sure. Sure. So we got I guess I'll just freehand this a little bit.
I feel like
Okay.
Nero probably entered last, so she's probably nearest the door.
Oh, I thought she wanted to take lead.
Um, She did, but it also sounded like Saoirse walked in first when he finally opened the door.
Yeah, I had read that you wanted to take lead after I had said she would walk in first.
Oh no, that's
So-
fine. Nero walking in last is also good.
Okay.
And
So what order did the rest of you walk in? Was it Saoirse, Brother Nick, Cade, and then Nero?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Cool.
Then Nero.
I guess that means Cade is closest.
Yeah, Nero turns away so that her lips can't be read, and says very quietly to Cade, "We're being watched." And
Fingers.
she'll. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, he would just comment back, "It figures."
And she'll try to point with her eyes toward the camera.
He'll he'll glance towards where her eyes are looking in general. And
See if he can see it.
yeah, but also look back at her and say, we should be vigilant, but I understand why they're cautious.
yeah, this room, there's one door over near the camera that apparently leads further into the apartment.
Yeah. Y'all are just invading his space, jumping right up on his bed.
Yep.
Are y'all seeing something I'm not seeing? Because I legit do not.
So look
The
over-
Uralin. Got it.
Yes, the Urala box.
Yep.
I like the mural he's painted on his floor.
Yeah, it's of one of the more scenic views as you come in over the mountain tops on a Uralan sunrise.
Yes, I think Brother Nick has seen one of those before. But he might not have been looking at the mountains on that plane ride.
Mm-hmm. Might have had other things on his mind at the
Might
time.
have had other things on his mind.
In that case, Cade will also nudge Saoirse since she's close by and just silently glance towards the camera just to kind of point it out to her. But he's not expecting them to be outright hostile. If anything, they were curious why we even would come asking.
Yeah, Nero just wanted us to know.
Mm-hmm.
And Saoirse would, of course, be trying to check with biopsionics for if this man is psionic.
Okay. With a few seconds.
Sorry,
she's
with
been studying him.
metapsionics, not biopsionics. Sorry.
Right. She's able to ascertain that he does not seem to have any psionic skills whatsoever, latent or otherwise.
Coolio.
Okay.
So Saoirse will
Kitchen
get
over there.
catch Brother Nick's eye and nod to him, kind of step back with her hands behind her back and just kind of look around the room. Let Brother Nick do the talking when he's ready.
So yeah, he'll go stand over by his kitchen counter and gesture, waiting for you all to sit in the handful of chairs that he has around the room.
Saoirse will try and figure out which one seems the comfiest and take that one.
Oh, that one just got bigger. It's clearly comfier. And because the others followed suit, clearly it's also the leader.
Yeah, she can take a seat in the obvious leader chair.
I'll let you move me around to whatever's the obvious leader chair.
Victor maintains his spot by the door.
Ugh, I forgot you were with us.
He just chuckles. That's a good thing.
Yeah. With Victor at the door, Nero will away from it and nearer to Saoirse.
Go over to this chair. Looks like that's nearest Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Cade, take the last chair.
No, I think he'll more like lounge toward the back of the group.
Are you
Near the door,
asking if
maybe.
Kate's going to willingly sit next to Saoirse?
Oh, that's true.
Nope. Nope. He's leaning against the wall next to the door.
Besides, he's a high-class gentleman. Trying to let the
Mhm.
lady have a seat.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
With no one taking the last chair, Eric slides it back and sits down in it.
Solid.
Next to the counter. And he looks around and then again and back to Brother Nick. He says, "So, what have you got that you think you can trade me for this radio you need?"
Cade will pass the or hand the now wiped tablets back to Brother Nick, and then return to his spot by the door.
Okay, yeah, and he'd pass those along to Eric and say, these 4 extra compads I've been holding on to, willing to part with if you're interested.
He will step forward and take them and just start kind of fiddling with them, checking their condition and all. I got anything interesting on
All pretty standard stuff.
He raises an eyebrow. Hmm. Plain compads. Not bad. He sets those down on the counter. Okay, what else?
Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
He looks over at Saoirse and fixes her with his steady gaze. She notices he makes a lot of eye contact.
She's guessing there's
Oh,
some kind
no.
of bionic eye.
He just kind of shrugs. And incidentally, Brother Nick would have noticed this too, as he was talking to him. Whenever he looked up from getting out the comm pads, guy was always making eye contact. Anyway, he'll look over at Saoirse and say, with a little shrug, "Mm, whatever strikes my fancy. Nothing I need desperately right now."
No favours you have needing done.
He raises an eyebrow. Favors. Well, none that I'd have thought to ask a group of strangers that showed up at my door looking for a radio.
Well, we were hoping that we might have mutual friends at the least. And she's
Hmm.
not going to break eye contact with him when she says that. She's trying to remain unfazed by his eye contact.
He kind of grunts and says, "Not likely. I don't have many friends."
Hmm. Maybe mutual interests then.
What kind of favors do you like to do for strangers?
Ah, I'm sure Brother Nick
Oh,
could put it in better terms.
quick sidebar for just half a second.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to refer to us shooting down the drone on the retreating Urallan resistance as having already done a favor for them?
Do we have the drone pieces?
You
I
do
mean,
not.
we may not have the drone pieces anymore, but we definitely do have footage. Like Cade would have
Mm-hmm.
made sure to kept some recording of that.
All right. If we think though this guy's got cameras in his eyeballs, do we really want to show him footage?
Good question.
I'm asking the group at large, so I mean, I'm not trying to say for sure we don't or for sure we do.
um, I think we can. It is probably wise to hold off on showing him at least until he shows us some cards. Right now, he's playing his hand very close to his chest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't think it would hurt to mention the drone, and if he asks for proof, then trying to play into that. Don't give it to him. Try and use that as leverage.
Mm-hmm. So I believe the last question he asked was what kind of favors would we be willing to do? And Saoirse had said, oh, Brother Nick will be able to put that more eloquently than I would be able
Mm-hmm.
to. And then she'll add, I've recently been informed that at times I can be a wee bit difficult to understand. I can't imagine why. She'll give him sort of a shrug, a little bit of a grin.
Hmm. He'll look over expectantly to Brother Nick.
And Saoirse, I think, would trust Brother Nick to parse out if this guy knows anyone who needs medical services or, any of her other, or if there's a psychic who needs smuggled out of something or, something like that. Basically, her psionic abilities would be part of what they could do as a team. So just to put that into players' words. Oh dear, I see GIFs being shared making fun of Saoirse.
Sorry, so could you repeat that for me?
Um, just that Saoirse would trust Brother Nick to be able to figure out if this man needed any medical favors done, or like if he had a psionic pal who needed like uh, clandestinely moved without being picked up by a metapsionic. Just something like that. Just she would trust Brother Nick to figure out a way to tactfully offer her psionic skills without putting it out there, because she's read his coded messages. She knows he's very capable of keeping things hush hush while also um, insinuating different things or offering things. So I'm just saying that out loud, I guess, as Danielle to Ethan, that's something that Saoirse would trust brother Nick to be able to offer without outing her, I suppose, is a good way to put it. Once again, I've used a novel when I needed a tweet, but that's about what I have.
It runs in the family.
I sure hope not, or I married someone I'm related to.
Well,
All right.
Oh,
using
Ethan,
family
Did
loosely
you
there.
understand what I meant?
Yeah, I think so.
Ethan.exe is loading.
So before doing any more trading, and because I guess it would have caused some concern when Eric was initially initially seemed confused about the radio thing. Say, well, before I keep offering our payment, I think I'd like to see the merchandise.
All right. So you just need something simple, something to transmit long waves, analog. Am I guessing
Yeah.
correctly?
Yes, shortwave radio of some kind. Nothing too fancy, just enough to pick up any local broadcasts. When times like these, it's always helpful to be able to pick up on the local news.
Hmm. Okay. Let me see what I can do. And he'll go over to his door there and open it. Opens out towards you all, and he slips behind it, basically having opened it the minimal amount, and closes it. And you hear a click.
Oh, anyone able to take a sneaky peek while it was open?
Brother Nick would have been in a position to potentially get a glimpse. So give me a notice check from Brother Nick.
With wisdom or intelligence?
Yeah, wisdom. Okay. So Brother Nick kind of half rose out of his chair, leaning over real quick, just to get a quick glimpse. All he could tell at a quick look was that the room was pretty dark, lit by a couple of computer monitors at the far end, and looked like there was a long table right about here.
Ben, you're just describing your office.
And he just caught a glimpse of some things scattered across the table, but nothing very clear before the door shut. All right. Would you guys like to do anything while you're waiting?
Does he actually go through the door?
Yeah, he went through the door, shut it,
Okay.
and you heard a click.
Oh, I thought the click was him looking through and pulling something out and then closing it before he. Okay.
No. He went.
No,
He
he
went
like
through the door.
locked the door behind himself, is what I'm hoping the click was, and that we're not all about to get like rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tooey.
Yeah, or poison gas.
We should
Man,
probably
you
stop
guys.
feeding the DM.
I was gonna say you guys have very morbid assumptions.
Morbid, or do we know you well enough at this point?
This is somebody that was given to you by Brother Nick's focus being
Yeah, and you're
expelled.
playing him super sketchy.
Yeah, you are, man.
You were playing up the sketchiness.
He's playing up
Okay,
the
that's fair.
mistrust.
That's
Yeah.
fair, but I I will say I don't exactly envision it as Brother Nick talking to a bunch of people and then somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I've got a shortwave radio," and they skip on over with a big smile on their face, whip one out, say, "Here you go, have a
That's
nice day,"
exactly how that should go. What are you talking about?
Especially on Urala.
and then they just
Especially in your all.
poof into a cloud of
This is what
smoke.
repressing violence for an entire lifetime looks like, everyone. Okay, this is what it gets you. All right, you end up in Eric Swanson.
Mhm.
All right. So anyway, Saoirse will look and see how Nero is holding up.
Oh, I'm typing that right now.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nero is getting anxious. Not anxious like there's something wrong. Anxious like this is boring and I'm standing still. Anxious.
Saoirse will ask her if she wants to play rock paper scissors.
Ne- All right, I have to roll something here. Hang on.
Okay.
Mhm.
We've entered a rock paper scissors mini game.
Okay, so Nero looks down at her. There's a little bit of excitement in her eyes, weathered only by she's maintaining realization or awareness of the situation. So, and she says, "Yes. How do you play? I don't
Saoirse
have
is
any
going to
rocks."
explain it to her. She'll laugh when she asks, like, you know, how do you play? I don't have any rocks. And she'll explain it to her. You know, you make these hand signs, and you know, this beats that and this beats the other. And for mechanics, how would you feel, Ben, if we rolled each rolled a 1d6, and 1 to 2 is
Um,
rock, 3 to 4 is paper, and 5 to 6 is
Nah,
scissors.
I
no,
know
sorry,
what Nero's gonna pick.
I'm gonna have you each whisper to me and roll 20
Oh, great.
what
Okay.
you're going to choose for round one. What are you guys
Okay.
playing? 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5?
We'll do 2 out of 3. I don't know. We'll just keep doing it until this guy gets back. Saoirse will say, listen, best 2 out of 3 buys the other one a cake.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, go.
All right. And the hand slammed down. Nero has chosen scissors and Saoirse paper.
Ugh. Should have known you'd go for something that could cut.
Paper cuts.
All right. Best 2 out of 3. Come on.
Okay.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Okay. This time, Nero slaps down scissors, and Saoirse also slaps down scissors.
What happens
Saoirse's
now?
looking at her. Well, that's a draw. So neither of us wins.
Okay.
All right. We're just gonna keep doing this until the dude comes back. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, go.
All right. This time, Saoirse smacks down her fist, shape of a rock, and Nero scissors again.
Do it.
Saoirse's gonna snort and look a little giddy, and then she's gonna go, you know, you should probably try, shaking things up a bit and not choosing scissors every time. It's a little uh, easy to guess.
Okay.
All right, so you're gonna try something else this time.
I can't tell you.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
And the
I'm
door
not
opens.
trying to cheat. Oh, we'll finish this up later since it's at a draw.
Nero looks back over at Eric.
He's paused outside the door with what looks like a radio in his hands, and he's just looking at the two of you.
What's the expression on his face?
It's a very it's very similar to before, just very even and slightly dour. But he's just looking at the two of you and gives a very small shake of his head.
Oh, you ever played before?
Well, yeah. Didn't think it was gonna take me that long, did you?
Ah, it's nothing against you, really. It's just my friend here. I got to keep her busy.
Mm.
I get bored.
Often.
Yes.
Well, maybe it's a sign you need something more interesting to do with your life.
Are you offering?
He gives just a little bit of a smile. Mm. Depends on what you find interesting.
Nero looks back over at Brother Nick.
All right, so he's brought the radio out. Now what?
Yeah, so he sets it down on the counter, and
By the way, how old does this guy look?
he looks like he could be anywhere between early 40s to mid 50s.
All right, it's not that old. I was wondering if he was like tottering Mad Max.
No, he's
Sorry, the
not.
magician Max, not Mad Max.
Yeah, I knew exactly who you were talking about.
Thank you. Miracle Max. That's the name
Yeah.
I'm looking for.
Yes.
Thank you. Ugh.
So yeah, I guess with Eric's permission, Brother Nick would give the radio a look over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would present it for him to look at and stand there while he inspects it. And as far as Brother Nick can see, he looks like all the appropriate parts are in place. Would he be somewhat familiar with these specifically?
With radio, I guess not super duper knowledgeable. I guess enough to
Okay.
know, like I said, if all the parts are there.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a fixed check real quick then.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, especially to see if like this is a homemade thing, or if the dude made it himself, or if he's buying them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Ow.
Ooh,
Well, with that kind of close
yeah, you used it
eye,
all on that one.
Right.
Brother Nick is able to tell that this is this looks like a standard kind of manufactured radio, but pops open the back. It looks like Eric has made some tweaks to it. And as far as he can tell, looks like Eric has only taken things out, hasn't really added anything in.
Hmm.
Looks like it actually used to have some sort of digital components to it.
Ah.
It has some what components to it?
It
I didn't
had some digital components to it,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's been taken out, and there's a little bit of what looks like nicely done rewiring of a couple things that to bypass whatever's missing. But and as from what Brother Nick has looked up in the past about uh, some of this more uh, primitive technology, it seems like it ought to do the trick. And he can fiddle with the dials a little bit and uh, quickly determine that it at least receives well enough. He's able to pick up uh, local broadcast. It's just the standard local news that you could watch on TV as well. And that completes his inspection of it.
So he'd offer it back to Eric and say some good wiring work. So you've done some of your own modifications to this.
Eric smiles a little bit, more than before even, and says, "Yes, I fixed it up a little bit. Took out some of the fluff. It looked like something you need."
So is it receive and transmit?
Oh, of course. Wouldn't do any good if you couldn't send anything with it. I hope you can see. Need a little more than a handful of standard compads.
Let's see. As for the Nick weighing out the other stuff he brought with him. How
Does
much is
anyone else have a thought or a suggestion?
Nero is trying to keep her mouth shut here.
Saoirse would ask, you had a lot of practice making these modifications recently.
He looks over at her fairly intently. Maybe. Why do you want to know?
Well, it's just that radio enthusiasts like ourselves are always looking to meet with like-minded individuals. So if there were other, enthusiasts in the area, we'd be interested in maybe meeting them, talking with them, seeing if we could help each other out with our newfound hobby.
He crosses his arms and leans back a little in his chair, gives her a considering look. Well, if you know the right channels and right things to say, there are plenty of people who like to chat on the radios.
Any you'd recommend for those of us just showing up?
Hmm. Well, I don't like to give recommendations for people that I don't really know,
Hmm.
unless I know I can trust them. See, I hate to recommend friends to friends, and then look like a fool when those don't pan out.
Ah, yeah, playing matchmaker is a bit of a bag.
Hmm. Most people aren't very good at it either. I should know.
Things fallen out for you before.
Mm. He he gives a cursory gesture at the apartment around you.
Saoirse hadn't meant romantically. She had meant veiled, as in like, have you gotten caught up in things before, and then realizes all too late that he took it as literally and like a literal matchmaker. Um,
And he gives you kind of he gives you a smirk with a twinkle in his eye. Says, yes, in more ways than one.
she'll snort, but she is starting to like this guy. Okay. Well, how do you usually go on about making friends? There's got to be some way you go from strangers to old pals.
Mm. He thinks for a second. Mm. Like I like hearing stories. It tells you a little bit about people, and you get to learn how good a storyteller they are in the process.
Hmm. Bit of a trouble that telling stories.
I tell stories all the time.
Who does?
Shinra said I tell stories all the time.
I know, and look where it gets you.
Get surrounded by ninjas. Awesome.
Saoirse's just gonna like pinch the bridge of her nose a little bit, but then realizes she's doing it in front of this guy and just stop herself real fast.
Suddenly, there's a loud pounding at the door, and Eric
Um,
starts
I
up.
did have the drone tasked on the outside of the building. Did we see anybody enter?
He didn't notice anybody, and
Hmm.
he can do a quick scrub back through the footage in a minute, but he was keeping a fairly good eye on it. Eric kind of half starts out of the chair.
Hmm.
Is
What are you expecting company?
and his hands kind of darted and then clenched. Um, no, nobody really. Uh, give me a moment, and he'll get up and walk over to the door
I moved
and
gate for you, Robert. Sorry.
unclenches
Oh, I'm good.
hands as he walks over. Mhm. All right, he goes over to the door and loudly calls through it. Who is it? And the few of you that are nearby the door, Brother Nick can't quite make it out. They can just faintly hear a high-pitched voice. Uh, You fixed it yet? I've been waiting 3 days. He gives a huge sigh, looks apologetically at the group, and puts a finger. like puts up a finger, like 1 moment, please. Um, unlocks the locks on the door, except for the chains again, and pokes his head out, or pokes his head up to the crack in the door. Uh, Miss Wembley, I'm very sorry. It's trickier fix than I thought. It's very slow going. You don't want me to break it, do you? And now, where everyone can hear this older woman's voice saying, "No, dearie, but I was hoping to get it sometime this week." Yes, well, yeah, now's not a wonderful time, but I promise you I'll have it done in time. Please go back to your home. I'll talk to you later. Oh, okay. And then click, and he locks the door again. Sorry about that. Uh, oh, where were we? Someone was about to tell me a story, I think. He's wiping his hands on his pants as he walks back to his chair and carefully folds them in his lap.
Think it's a good time to reference helping other people who like radios.
Yeah, somebody should say something before Nero concocts a scenario in which we're all being attacked and tells that story.
Oh my stars. Saoirse, if she sees Nero about to start talking, will yank a Twinkie out of her bag and shove it at Nero.
Kate will probably speak up, seeing the expression on Nero's face of getting bored again.
No,
And-
she's starting to get that excited look that she gets when she starts
Yeah.
daydreaming about a fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
yeah.
it's not a bored look. It's there's a wild glint
Yeah.
to her eye.
Yeah, so he definitely says, well, we did help some folks who like radios. The occupiers might have been a little interested in them, so we just made sure that their radios didn't get taken. He'll quirk an eyebrow, obviously saying saying it but not saying it.
Saoirse's incredibly grateful she made him change clothes at this point. Now that he's using the term occupiers. Talk about his own people.
Yeah. He's deliberately trying to speak with as little accent as possible.
I'm gonna laugh if he ends up at any point trying to imitate Saoirse's accent, because I would die.
I'm not sure I could pull that off, to tell the truth.
Oh man. So what's Eric's reaction to him saying that, by the way? Ben?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. I was just making sure you were still connected. Sorry.
yeah, I was. I gotta be honest, I actually missed what was said.
Oh no.
Trying to think about and do too many things at once.
So I said that Cade would have chimed in and said that, well, we did help some people who like radios, not have them taken by the occupiers, with a sort of nudge, nudge, wink, wink expression.
Oh, okay.
Did you air quotes
And
around
as-
radios?
Yeah, and definitely speaking with as little accent as he can.
Okay. Give me a perform check from him.
Thankfully, I think I have a level in perform.
Oh, thank goodness.
Perform charisma.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Booyah!
Good job, man.
All right. Eric will raise
It may
both
not seem
eyebrows.
like it, but Cade but Cade does have charisma. +1. Go ahead,
This
sorry.
doesn't manifest in some of the stereotypical ways.
Exactly.
Eric raises both eyebrows. Says, "Oh, working against the what do you call them? Oppressors, huh? It's very bold of you. Most people are either keeping their heads down or trying to stay out of it. Be anywhere but here." And Eric's eyes flicker over to Narrow as she moves through the room, settles herself again. Gives her a piercing look.
We actually did have a friend who was very into radios. We were hoping to run back into. Old friend of Nero's here. And then Sears just silently curses herself for letting Nero's name slip from her lips.
Oops.
Nero is also returning that piercing look.
Says, "Well, does friend have a name?"
Thanks, Robert. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anytime.
You should say the name Nero to all your friends. Someone will know it.
Is that so?
Yes.
I don't think it would hurt to let him know your friend's name, Nero. Maybe that might help to cut down on some of the in-between time that we might be waiting, since we don't have a lot of time to be waiting.
Boris. Nero's eyes flicker towards the camera just briefly, and then return to Eric's piercing gaze before saying Boris.
Okay. He gives a little sigh. Does Boris have a last name?
Are
Why are you
you
running around collecting Boris's?
He throws up his hands. I'm just saying, if there's somebody I should be expecting to hear back from when I bandy about name Narrow. I'd
Oh,
hate to get the wrong Boris.
what was it that Ethan posted last time about Dearest, the coded message?
Oh, where was that?
It was
I'm looking.
It is in session chat somewhere.
yeah, it was something along the lines
Yeah.
of "Dearest Uncle Boris," wasn't it?
Right, but I was wondering what the name he used for us was.
Yeah,
'cause
what
I'm
he
gonna
signed
assume
it.
that's
Let's see, there was Nicolette
relatively established. Yeah, Nicolette.
wrote to my beloved.
I want to point
Yes.
out we don't know if Boris actually received those, unfortunately.
I know, but it's still very Brother Nick style, so I'm pretty sure he would get it. You know?
Okay.
I would basically just say, maybe just check if Uncle Boris knows Nicolette. And he'll chuckle.
He gives Cade a very uh kind of concerned look.
It's an
Mm,
inside joke.
okay. I was going to say this is getting more complicated by the second. Hmm.
We'll be happy for you to just try and find him to start with.
I will add that Nero and Victor both do know Boris's last name, and it's also in the journal section.
Cool.
I think you guys have.
So,
So
do you want to provide it, Nero, or no?
Uh, I mean, I feel like she was maybe not wanting to just because uh, her thought is that in this context, there's only going to be one Boris who is interested, really interested in the name Nero.
Yeah.
And giving away actual last names, I mean, like that much.
Yeah. We also don't even know if this guy's on the right side at this point.
Yeah. Like as
So
players we know, but as characters we definitely don't.
we don't want to like inadvertently get Boris into more trouble if he is in trouble.
hmm.
Well, and as
Who are we
players, we
kidding?
don't
Of
even
course
know if
he's
this
in
guy
trouble.
is like a double agent.
Well,
Yeah.
I should say I'm speaking from a DM's perspective. I don't think Ben is going to turn a character's resource, the use of their focus against the players unless the players do something to turn it against them.
Oh, that's fair.
There's one
Anyway.
person who has faith in me.
And it's not your wife
Yeah, imagine that.
or your
You
I
play
friend
him
guess.
so suspicious.
or your friend who's known you almost your entire life. Or the husband of another friend you went to college with.
Shh.
Yeah.
No, guys, don't listen to all that. Just trust Dex's intuition.
Hmm.
I know, I can see into the DM heart of his heart. I don't
Red
need
time is Bay.
history. Yep, it's true. He has said that. That is canon. What were you gonna say, Ethan?
I said innocent since the day he was innocent.
Mhm.
Exactly.
um. So yeah, Eric is he he looked like he was leaning forward expectantly at Saoirse,
How many
but
Borises are there here?
do I look like a census taker to you?
Do you know any?
Pretty sure I've met one before.
Is he old?
Kind of screws up his face thinking. I'm not sure. I wouldn't call him old.
Nero genuinely looks a little bit surprised at this. There are other people named Boris.
Oh my stars. So
It's
anyway,
it's a weird name. Says the very violent girl whose name is Nero Harmony.
Victor pipes up. He's not that strange. Would it really hurt to tell a man?
See, if it were to be hurting him, I think Nero would have a speciality in that.
If is not the right side, compromise Boris.
Eric looks from Victor back over to Nero. Just gives her a kind of pursed lips look. I don't know what you're trying to get me wrapped up in, but I guarantee I don't want any trouble with any of it.
Fine. I don't remember his name, and I haven't gone back and looked. Unless you've retyped it. No,
It
you
is
haven't retyped it.
Coslow.
Huh?
It is tongue-tied.
Oslo?
Coslow, yeah.
If you hear from Boris Kozlo, you should contact us.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. That'll make it a little easier to remember. Hopefully only one of those. And he stands up for a second and he starts to walk towards his door and then pauses. Oh, fine. All right, enough with all this. Come in here.
I knew it was going to be something that simple.
Yippee!
He opens his door. He
Nero
looks over at
moves
Victor.
over.
Okay. And then to Nero. uh, You two sounded like you might be the couple of the ones that he had mentioned. You can't be too careful.
Is
As far
he
as
in
I
the
know,
other room?
he only
His
ever used
LOL.
he only ever used his first name when he was here, and he opens the door and goes in, leaves it open for the rest of you to follow if you want.
Before entering, Nero looks over at Saoirse. Should have let me tell my story. Would have known it was me.
Who's to say I stopped you? I just handed you a snap cake.
I know what you were doing.
Do you now? Good to know we have a precog.
Oh, snap.
Nero peers into the room.
All right. So yeah, looking in, there's it's a fairly large room, takes up most of the rest of the space that you'd have expected, other than there's a small bathroom on the other side. But most of the room is taken up by desks all along the walls, and then there's another long desk or table in the middle of the room, and there's a kind of similar looking radio equipment on a couple of these tables, and a computer with a couple different monitors. And over on over on one of his tables, he's got a laser rifle, partially disassembled.
Whoa.
And you notice pretty quickly that stuffed in most every nook and cranny there are sort of industrial looking crates that have various labels of different kinds of rations, and it looks pretty much like a stereotypical prepper's hideout. He's got a hook hanging for a hammock, but all the rest of the space is taken up with storage of all this kind of stuff. And he just says, "Well, uh, even fewer seats in here, but I'm sure you won't mind standing. Uh, Once you all get into the room, uh, he closes the door and locks it again. And you notice that his the walls are they've got something a little different looking than usual than the walls usually look around here, and especially different from the other room. It looks most likely like soundproofing sort of stuff. Brother Nick would have seen its like before, at least, and Cade probably has as well. All right, so we can talk freely in here. Um, I assume you're wanting to reach out to Boris about some sort of something to do with the Uralan resistance.
Yes. And then
All
Nero
right.
immediately looks a little bit sheepishly over at Brother Nick and Saoirse, and steps herself back.
Don't be shy. I like a straight shooter.
Yeah. Yes, we're hoping to hear from him. We'd sent a few messages, but haven't gotten a response.
Mm.
We had begun to fear he might have gotten too caught up in things during the invasion.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I'm sure that whatever channels and codes they gave you when you left or compromised, they've changed all those since then. So I hope you didn't say anything too incriminating or revealing.
Saoirse will laugh at that. If you like a straight shooter, I wouldn't bandy about words with Brother Nick here too much.
I prefer stabbing.
He'll smile and say, I think we were appropriately discreet.
He's a bit of a rugger bugger, if you know what I mean.
Oh, all the better for you. And he will he'll he'll go over to one of his other tables where he's got a radio, and he'll tweak a couple dials, and he'll just pick up the microphone, bring it a little closer, and click it on. It's a mighty nice day for a hot cup of mud, ain't it? And then set it back down.
Nero looks at him and then looks at Saoirse.
Don't look at me. Sounds like he's right ossified. Brother Nick's the one who'll know what he's talking about.
That's nothing too fancy, just odd little phrase that ought to send the right message.
I think we just got called dirt. Saoirse will say to Nero.
Yeah, he gives a big grin when she says that. Well, dirt's a pretty great thing when you think about it.
Well, especially if it's hot.
Mm-hmm. My favorite.
Saoirse will roll her eyes.
But
She'll mutter something about natives under her breath.
so then he'll ask, so, you want somebody to come here, or do you want to meet them somewhere else?
Which is faster? Well, and then she'll look at Brother Nick for a second. And she'll say, which would be best for the Urolan forces? It seems like you're doing pretty important work here, and I don't think we want to compromise you.
That's true. They'd only send one person here. Um, it's probably faster if you go ahead and just pick another place to meet them, or more likely they'll pick a place and tell you to meet them there. They think they've been getting smacked around the city a fair bit. There's no telling where they are these days. But hopefully one of them will know something more about Boris. Guess I should tell you before I send you off that I haven't really heard anything from him or any of the higher ups since the first few days. I know he was working with Caldwell up in the capital. They had some plans, but you don't know how plans go. Don't know where they ended up. Word is Caldwell's on the run. No official mention of Boris. I don't know. I don't know if they know about him, but
What was Boris doing here? You mentioned he'd come by earlier on.
oh no. Did I say that? I
Yeah,
didn't
you
mean
did.
to.
You said you hadn't seen him in a while. When he
Oh,
used
oh,
to
hadn't
come
seen.
here, and
I may have misspoken. He definitely did say that he hadn't seen him in a while. Um, trying to think what I intended to say there that would have been similar to that. Oh well, sorry. I guess we'll have to rewind the tape later.
it's all right.
um,
Yeah, I'm sorry if I misunderstood, but
no,
just go ahead. So,
No,
you're fine.
I heard the
how?
same thing.
All right. So, how was Boris involved? Because
He
the way it was basically, I thought he had physically been here, but I can just reframe the question to be, how was he involved in the
no,
early days?
he'd clarified to say that he'd met Boris before when back when he had when Eric himself had a more official uh, business with the Uralan military, and he'll just say that he used to be a excuse me, used to be a scout um, before he decided to retire. But yeah, he did not mean to imply that Boris had been here specifically. He has not seen him since before the invasion. So he doesn't know anything specific about Boris's current whereabouts. But if you're looking for Boris, I'd probably start with Caldwell. That guy seemed like he liked keeping a short leash on Boris. I don't know what that whole situation was about, but
All right, miss. I'll tell you that.
mm, yeah, it sure looked like it. But everybody perked up and listened when Boris would open his mouth to, talk about whatever gibberish he'd come up with or needed to report on. It was a lot of it was over my head, and you had him like neck deep in some biology kind of stuff. But anyway, um, at this point, he's hearing. He turns to the radio, hearing a voice coming back from it, and um, in short, they bandy back and forth some fairly odd phrases that seem like whatever kind of code they've got put together. And after just a few phrases, he clicks off the machine and turns back to them. All right, they've told me a place to have you all wait for them, and they'll send someone to meet you. They they're they're going to be expecting that you'll be able to help them somehow. So I hope you've either got some intel to offer or maybe some more material help. But
Of me.
they'll, he nods. You know, they'll they'll appreciate anyone who likes stabbing people, especially the right sorts of people. And they should receive you warmly enough. I told them what to expect. Can't promise they'll know anything more, but with luck, they'll be able to point you in the right direction.
Saoirse is going to be looking over his stuff and say, since you appreciate a straight shooter, might I ask if you have any radio systems better for people legging it? Something a little more easy to tote around.
He
And if you got anything for sale on the side. And she's been eyeballing all the stuff he's got splayed out.
gives a little grin. Thinking something that'll let you communicate with a little more privacy, perhaps.
Aye.
Um, Now, I wasn't sure if you were actually still going to want a radio or if that was just means of getting in touch with the resistance, but I could probably part with this as long as you did have something substantial to offer me. Um, he reaches under one of his tables, pulls out a crate of rations, and then slides out from behind it a little comm server, complete with backpack straps.
Oh.
Now, I'm sure you know these don't grow on trees exactly.
Saoirse will look at Brother Nick.
He'd, yeah, so Brother Nick would say, well, before we were sure of your connections, I was going to offer to help with that other job you had as payment. I don't know if that would be enough.
Hmm. He thinks for a second. Oh, I could shave a couple hundred credits off the price for that.
Saoirse will look at him, and when he was walking around or anything like that, did he look like he had any kind of injuries? Maybe a limp or an old ache or something that was bothering him?
No, he didn't give any tells like that. He's moved pretty deliberately around. He's not been particularly quick or nimble, but he seemed steady enough and without any obvious problems.
Saoirse's just gonna ask him, I guess, pretty outright, she'll just say, "Said you used to be a scout then?"
Yeah.
Got any physical memorabilia? Anything you had to take as a bit of a souvenir with you?
Mm.
Did you hurt yourself in any way you need healing for?
uh, Gives her a discerning look. Hmm. Well, I'm not sure how exactly that works, but I think anything I've got is a little too old to uh, be helped by that, and it's a little more subtle than your typical wartime injury. Uh, Spent a lot of time in the ravines and the lowlands. Filters only do so much. And eventually, I think wears on a man. Uh, as long as I don't stay down too long, I don't really have any trouble. He's uh he's alluding to some maybe minor breathing problems, but doesn't seem concerned by them. And you would know that's something that's
Common.
yeah, for someone who's spent as much time as he seems to be indicating he has a down in the the stronger atmosphere, uh, and without a without a fairly extensive procedure, she wouldn't really be able to do anything to help him.
Yeah.
She'd need to be able to regrow his lungs for him.
I mean, if I did it one at a time. She's musing out loud.
Say,
Oh,
can
He
she actually
never
do
mind.
that?
he looks confused for like a second and then goes wide-eyed, like, no, that's quite all right. But, thank you for the offer. Uh, it it's not that bad. Maybe if he, he he just kind of doesn't have anything to say, and he just looks back to Brother Nick.
What
Um,
about other people in the building?
so yeah, anyway, you can come take a look at this little project. It's been a little bit tricky, and we could maybe call it 700 if you're
When
able
when Nero says, "What about anyone else in the building?" Saoirse's just gonna like immediately cut her off and be like, "Oi, I'm not looking to open a free clinic here in the building. What are you doing?" And she'll just like rattle off, like basically like jumping on Nero, like, "What are you doing? Offering out my services to everyone in the building."
Nero waits for her to finish, and it's a war. People are gonna be hurt.
Ah, you think that's gonna get us a discount on our radio?
Does it matter?
Ah, I can go ask those people then if they need help. Sorry, let's RP this in the side, by the way,
Oh,
while
sure.
they're talking about stuff.
Good
So
God.
Eric will show Brother Nick to one end of one of his tables that's got the space cleared out. Uh, some of them, uh, some of the clutter has all been moved away. You've got a clear space with a bright light and a little magnifying glass on a little arm. There's an adjective I can't think of right now, but one that can be adjusted and locked into a position.
Articulated?
And yes, and in the center of that space, in the under the light, there's a very intricately decorated little music box. Um, yeah, something had gone wrong inside this thing, and He points at one little corner. Probably dropped it, judging by this here, but I've been a little bit at a loss. This kind of thing is a little more intricate and mechanical for what I'm used to dealing with. So mechanically I'll need a fix check from Brother Nick, however he would go about it.
Okay. Would having the pre-tech toolkit do anything for?
Mm, that's a good question. I'd say that Brother Nick's experience with kind of smaller, finer things, doing his little tinkering, probably suits him fairly well to working on something like this, even with his standard tools. I'm not sure that he's familiar enough with the pre-tech tools yet to
Yeah,
go
still
poking around them, but I think he's probably a little concerned about whipping those out for something this delicate.
yeah, flash them around.
Okay. So yeah, Brother Nick, um, he's worked on similar little clockwork type machines and their little interlocking bits and pieces. Uh, so he's able to take a look and thinks that with maybe an hour or two of work and a couple other little pieces that turn out to be fairly standard, he thinks he might have those on him. In fact, he'd be able to fix this up.
Okay, yes, he'd let Eric know that.
He seems surprised and folds his arm in front of him. Well, what do you know? A tinkerer just happens to fall into my lap. What kind of luck is that? And he gestures at it. Oh, knock yourself out. I'll get this thing packaged up for you and ready to go. And he goes over and starts fiddling with the comm server, getting it all folded and packed up.
While they're doing that, and while Nero and Saoirse are arguing, Cade will be keeping a sharp eye on the drone outside, surveying the environment out there.
Okay.
Partly just keeping himself busy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess Brother Nick would, I think, and use the opportunity to chat and I guess to get more of the big picture of what's been going on with Eric.
Okay. Yeah.
Hearing we had we just recently got back to the planet after some travels, so most of our information on the war has been gleaned from the broadcasts. You give us more on what all happened?
He snorts when you mention the broadcasts. Yeah. They've they've been telling it mostly like it is. The parts they mention anyway, but they've definitely been leaving out some of the finer details, and they've been pretty obviously run by the Tabukans ever since pretty much day 2. And he'll go on and start talking about the progression of events, which I will get to in a moment. First, for Robert, checking the drone, he's noticed a couple of people coming and going from the building, looking ordinary and nonchalant enough. And he does, at one point, maybe about 30 minutes into your stay, notices on one street over, one of the armored patrols passing by, but it doesn't seem like it takes any particular interest in the area. It's just passing through.
Okay. He'll note it and kind of mark it on the map, and keep an eye on any sign that they are coming back or taking interest in the area,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me.
just in case.
Yeah. Okay, let me. Mhm. Okay, let's do this. Where's the.
If they're trying to do something to detect it, is that contested?
It is not contested,
Okay.
but Cade will get a little ding on his data slab that the drone has detected a sensors lock on it.
Well, then he's gonna move it to observation range and try to break the lock.
Okay. So he already had the drone. I'd say probably fairly close to the upper limit of its
Okay.
range as far as the visual suite goes.
Mm-hmm.
He would know he could fly at a good bit higher up. You know, if he got up out of range where he could actually even see much detail on the ground at all, then he'd be far enough away to get out of those sensors. Or if he traveled a few kilometers away.
So is it
naturally.
like a serious sensor lock, or is it something man portable? Because you could probably move enough buildings in the way to break that.
I'm gonna say that the nature of the scanner is not, the specs or the details of the scanner are not necessarily obvious,
Doesn't?
although he just knows by the fact that it even was detected that it has to be something military grade.
Yeah.
but he's able to. Uh, I'm going to say that it's similar to some of the ship-based scanning type stuff, where an active lock it does
Yeah.
reveal the position of the source as well, the scanner, and he zeroes it in back on the grav tank.
Oof. I don't think they would have something to be able to engage it at observation range.
The person
So
Is that
inside
a
me who
question?
knows the numbers wants to disagree.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Tell the person inside you to shove it.
Agreed.
That's
Maybe
fair.
he's just gonna move one of the buildings between the drone and the tank.
Okay.
Because then it can't fire directly.
Okie
I'm pretty sure it could pass it to some other vehicle, but
All right then. Let me double check here.
whoa, grav tanks can have 6 weapon systems?
Oh my word. Stop
Heavy
looking it up, Robert.
heavy weapons do take 2 of those, but heavy weapons have really long range.
Dex, finish typing.
typing.
Yeah, I guess I
So,
just haven't really read much. Oh yeah, those are long ranges for.
mhm. So let's have. What kind of skill? Check.
Man, that was exactly at the limit he needed to detect the drone.
Yep. So it was.
How rude.
Yeah, okay.
Like he fails.
Yeah, it would have failed even if I hadn't added the plus.
Oh my goodness, yes he would have.
The only roles you miss are the roles you don't take.
Snake eyes.
Snake
Wayne
eyes,
Gretzky, Michael Scott,
baby.
Benjamin Copeland.
True.
Hmm.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I guess I missed it. What was the notice roll for?
Oh, don't worry about it.
Your drone.
One of those. Okay, yeah.
I was just testing my mouse, making sure the clicker worked, and just,
Clicked the wrong button and I typed a +2 modifier just to see what would happen.
just to see.
Sometimes I just don't get to make enough rolls in a session, so I throw some extra rolls in just for kicks.
Oh my word.
Sure.
Just to keep you on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Imagine being married to him, Robert.
That's not required, Robert. You may continue playing the session without imagining that.
Ben, do you start your arguments between the two of you with roll for initiative?
Maybe we should start doing that. We might actually have more productive conversations.
Oh man, we
If we have kids, I plan to do that at some point. If they're
Oh my
arguing
stars. They're
hotly,
poor
just be like,
kids.
"Okay, stop it. Roll for initiative."
No joke. That's actually a good way of segmenting a conversation and creating rules and boundaries of who can say and who can speak, so you're not talking
I was
over
gonna
each other.
say that sounds awfully similar to the the stereotypical therapy pillow kind of method.
It
I've got the
is.
talking pillow.
Yeah, it's
Just
just
basically just
stealthy, and it
doing an
seems like it's a
argument in
game.
Uh huh.
yeah, just having an argument in
Yep,
turn order.
You add a
exactly.
gameable mechanic to it, give somebody a bonus to their roll, and
Mhm.
based on good behavior.
And then see
hmm
who wins.
Oh my.
That's a that's a great way to have an argument. Okay, I digress.
Greatly.
So let's see. What to do, what to do. I guess just give me a good old program int check from Cade.
Non-hacking.
Non-hacking. All right. Pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah, I figured that was a decent roll.
Okay, and go ahead and give me an evasion save also.
Well, did I at least win the program check, or do I need to re-roll?
That was a success, yes. Sorry, I should have
Cool.
said that more clearly.
I'm just verifying.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing to check.
I can't even see that. Hey,
Okay, nice. All right, so Cade figures out quickly after having been locked onto by the grav tank um, that he's not particularly confident about the capabilities or about his knowledge of the capabilities of that grav tank. So he decides to err on the side of caution and start evasive maneuvering for the drone and start trying to put some taller buildings between his drone and the tank and give it a little bit of a dive to improve his angles. And he's pretty quickly rewarded with a hail of fire from the tank. Goes lancing up into the sky. Can just barely make out the streaks on the drone's cameras as it swoops into a dive.
well, he's gonna task it to get as far out of range as he can take it and continue evasive maneuvers in the process.
Okay.
And glance over to Saoirse, since I think all of them are decently close by,
Mm-hmm.
and say the grav tanks are starting to shoot at the drone. Barely got a lock on it, but it's too close for comfort.
And he says that while somewhat intently navigating the drone.
Yep.
Eric perks up at the mention of a drone You got a drone operating in the city?
Yeah, the spy drones operating here in the city. We shot down one of their spy drones, killing the resistance earlier.
Hmm. Wow.
So I'm sure they're a little resentful.
Yeah, I'll say they've been shooting down pretty much anything that puts its head above the the rooftops. Surprised you still. Well, you said you just got into town. Yeah, well, be pretty careful flying anything like that. They have a pretty firm no tolerance policy with those.
It's
And
pretty tough to detect, but yeah, I'm noticing.
the arcade is basically having the drone dive bomb the city.
Yeah.
It is careening with all its speed straight down to try to get some buildings between itself and the tank, and doing a frantic check all around to make sure there aren't any other patrols he's about to run the drone right into.
Yeah, we're not trying to crash it, but
Yeah. Oh. Um, yeah, so given the speed of the drone, he's able to get it out of line of fire pretty quickly. Yeah. The firing from the tank stops. And oh, I should have mentioned when the tank started firing, you all did not hear anything from your vantage point in the apartment. But Cade knows it was just basically on the other a couple streets over from the apartment.
at least we know the grav tank is decently far away.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's not like you had the drone hovering outside the outside the door of the apartment complex.
Yeah, no.
We stealthily hovered a sign a few thousand feet above the ground.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
About as far away as we could, honestly.
Oh boy.
I'm sorry, it's been bothering me all night. I couldn't figure out what the noise was.
Oh boy. Yep. Rootin' tootin'. That's my wife for you. No, yeah, her mouse wheel is very audible.
Wow, and I just realized I had muted myself to avoid that, but I was just like, I was finally speaking and not whatever. Anyway, I'm
No.
dying over here.
So,
That's exactly what it looks like, Dix. Accurate.
everyone
Lol.
knows that's what happens with anything that women need to do in that regard.
Of course.
I mean, you haven't given me a dog to blame it on, so we just have to be honest.
Now, I'm not calling you your kids dogs, but what about the kids?
They're asleep in the other room. Do you think they have like tectonic farts that come through the wall?
I don't know how babies work.
Oh my stars.
I don't know if they got a
cats are
tuba
pretty
coming
old,
out
too.
the back end.
Oh my word. Okay, we are way off in the weeds. Can I just say, by the way, whenever I think we've wrapped up our side RP, whenever Saoirse sees an opportunity, she will ask what's his face, Eric, one more time if he knows of anybody important in the resistance who needs medical attention.
He would just say, well, I don't know specifically, but I can imagine they've got some injuries. They've been clashing with the Tabukans all over the city.
Well,
I've heard they've got some POWs as well, but might have a harder time getting to them.
like they've got Tabukans that are their prisoners, or you're saying some of them have
No,
been
sorry.
taken prisoner.
No, the Tabukans have some of the resistance. They haven't been executing anybody.
Yet. That
He,
you know of.
he nods in acquiescence. Could be. They've supposedly been trying to start make peace talks with the resistance. They
Probably need as many bargaining chips as they can get.
Yeah, I think they're hoping that someone will be willing to put arms down. Frankly, they don't seem like they expected this much fighting back. Don't think they really understood the finer points of the Uralan religious disagreements.
But you guys don't fight.
Oh well. Yeah, the Archbishop and the the recent leaders of the church, they interpret things that way. Hasn't always been like that. Let's just say they didn't exactly stamp out all of the opposing viewpoints. They just announced what the official stance of the church was and expected everybody to fall into line, regardless of whatever you thought.
Oh, sounds like the Banjaks that. And I'm right glad they did.
He looks over at her, his face all screwed up.
I don't understand it half of what she says either.
They made a right mess of trying to get people to hold hands and sing Kumbaya. That's all I mean. And I'm glad they did.
He nods, accepting that explanation.
Why does anybody sing Kumbaya?
Yes, well, oh, I'm getting some feedback through somebody's microphone.
It's not me. I'm holding in.
I don't know if it's just the nasally tones that are doing it, but
I think it's been
Anyway.
Ethan. Not to, throw Ethan under the unicorn butts.
I am so mad I had my
You did
microphone
not.
muted because that was the first sincere snort of the night that I have laughed out loud. Oh my word.
It's okay, I'm sure that's a more pleasant place than being under a bus.
being trampled by a unicorn that's farting rainbows?
I mean, I would hope so.
Huh. Well, there's preferences on how you leave the world, I guess.
Maybe a slightly higher chance of survival.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, where were we?
He's getting feedback on someone's. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yes,
So
and he was just saying that. Let's see, he was talking about the religious disagreements, and then Saoirse was saying that she was glad that it was the case, that some people were willing to fight back, and he'll just say, "Yeah, the jury's still out on that one. Guess we'll have to see how it turns out for them." Myself, I'm not sure that fighting back was the best choice, considering the fairly inevitable outcome. But, some people can't really take something like that lying down. I don't really guess I can blame them. Only
do you
they
want them
just
to
get
just
it
go
over with.
quietly into the night?
He thinks about it for a second. Not in so many words, but let's just say a good soldier knows when to fight and when not to fight.
Saoirse can think in her mind that it sounds more like a mercenary than a soldier, what he's describing. But she keeps her mouth shut. That is a
Yeah, I'm
great
curious
meme.
if Nero has any reaction to that bit of conversation.
It's made her a little bit uncomfortable, but she's after the conversation with Saoirse, she's keeping her mouth shut. Well, not entirely true. She did just blurt out, but she's trying to. She's putting more effort into it.
Yeah.
Oh, did you type anything back after? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I missed that.
It's okay.
Oh, it got finished after you'd been
Yeah.
conversing with him. So you're good.
Oh boy, the time. No.
In which the party spends the entire session in a tiny apartment. And you thought we were gonna go crazy.
True.
We pretty much just sussed the same person the entire time, and then eventually got around to getting to the point you intended for us to get to. Oh, how's that for a description, Ben?
That's probably somewhat fair. Let's see, I did intend to play up his suspicious nature a little bit.
Might have overdone it.
Maybe a little bit, but I wasn't sure.
All good.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how long it would take you guys to kind of get to the meat of the matter and play your cards one way or the other. I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to go to get that forward or if you wanted to just play it much safer. So
Honestly, it was
Um,
fun interaction, anyways.
I'd say it definitely seemed like you guys were enjoying it. You were engaging a lot with it. So
Mhm.
um, I hope it was good. Let's see. We have a couple more minutes, so before we finish, uh, brother Nick, will fast forward along a little bit. Uh, brother Nick has been dutifully tinkering away, and he went digging through his spare parts and found a couple of tiny pieces, spring and another little connector to replace something that looks like it bent and isn't going to be salvageable. So gets the thing all fixed up and is able to wind it up and start playing a fanciful little tune that has the little carved figurine on top spinning. Eric comes over and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Well, appreciate that. That'll get Miss Wembley off my back and hopefully make her day too. I'm not sure she really believed that I could fix it anymore." So he is very happy to lower the price of the comm server for you and give it to you for just 700 credits.
Oh, yeah, I'm Danielle.
Right in the feels.
Right in the feels. I don't feel like I should follow that with anything.
There you go.
Now it just goes back to standing in the corner and trying to be quiet.
uh,
All right, so your business with Eric concluded. You have bought a comm server off of him. You've gotten in touch with the Urallan Resistance by way of his, guess, code-worded communications with them. And he's giving you a place fairly far across the city, practically in the center of town, to go meet up with the Resistance. And it's just early afternoon. Is there anything else you want to do or say with Eric, or can we consider this encounter with him concluded?
Saoirse wants to get out of the nasty apartment and into fresh air.
The nasty apartment. His room was a little crowded with stuff, but his living room was nice and neat.
Oh, okay.
All right. Peace. He will send you on your way.
Maybe what we really need to be visible is our Discord channel. Character chat, because our meme game is fire.
We might get copyright striked on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And-
For
and,
sharing memes? Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Yep. Yeah, there have actually been some YouTube channels, the YouTube React to Memes channels.
Oh my word, really?
Yeah,
That's
because
so ridiculous.
it is just a real quick, since we opened this up. There are companies that literally buy up the rights to some of these memes.
Oh my
Yeah.
word.
Yeah,
Just
I
so they
went into
can sue,
the
right?
yeah.
wrong line of work there.
Oh yeah, it's actually remarkable the the copyright patent, that whole world is chock full of people just frantically looking for the legal rights to sue other people
Yeah.
and try to make a quick buck. It's remarkably profitable if you have the spare cash to throw around.
They're basically like meme versions of not PhotoBucket, iStock,
Hmm.
stock photo sites. They
Hmm.
do actually license them out. That you could go there and properly buy the license, and that of course makes them suing somebody legitimate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, in the eyes of the law.
Nope.
Legally.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which actually, I'm gonna say legitimate. I'm pretty sure literally means conforming to the law or something like that. In line with the law. Legitimate.
But that's a different weed.
Yeah, true. Conforming to law or to rules. Yeah, so anyhow, uh, you all leave Eric Swanson's apartment uh, with a meetup location for the resistance in mind, and comm server strapped onto Brother Nick's back. Assuming that the 700 credits have been deducted somewhere, then we'll also give everyone 2 XP for this session.
Sweet.
Woo!
But everyone did a
Double XP.
particularly good job of role playing and making that
I'm only 2
whole
XP
experience.
away from leveling up.
Woo!
Ah.
Hey. If you guys can
Which, by
get
the
up to
way,
some
Ben,
momentous stuff next session, then maybe there'll be another 2 XP session.
I think that especially after this conversation that Saoirse had with Nero, that she will have gone for a tissue integrity field.
Mm,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
all right. There it is.
I think that
Um,
was the interaction she needed to push her back away from the edge of becoming a psycho. Um,
I hugged the
Right.
cancer generator out of her.
basically, yep, that's exactly it. No.
Yeah. I guess
Just
now's
somebody who's thinking highly enough of her to say, like, if you were helping, then I felt like I was helping.
Mhm.
And you can help people by healing. I think was enough for her to go, okay, that's how I can help people, and I think was, I don't know, I think pushed her more back towards being a healer
Yeah, I got you.
versus a source of cancer.
Yeah. Um,
She'll stick to
okay.
bird murder. How about that?
Fair enough.
It's been a while since that's come up.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that oh, yeah, I'll keep my other thoughts to myself.
Okay.
Looking at the time, I don't want to around too much.
Don't want your daughter.
No, let's go ahead and wrap up the session here with some faves.
Robert. Mister, might need to go light on the spice tonight.
I wasn't sure how I was gonna be feeling. Sorry,
Oh, wait. No, you're good, you're good. Just like,
it's
man,
TMI for Twitch.
man.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go first?
I don't mind.
All right, go for it.
I absolutely loved Ethan and Robert getting the opportunity to be more in the spotlight. I
Mhm.
frequently feel a little bit self-conscious when I feel like I'm hogging the spotlight. So I loved that you guys were able to get more involved with this NPC. And I also absolutely have to give credit to that first hug in years, the feels. Damn.
Yeah. Well, I think it was established earlier in our session or in our campaign with Damsa that before their relationship went south, when Saoirse was trying to like lighten things up with her or something, she was like, I'm definitely like neither of them were very physically affectionate people.
hmm
And so like they had a moment of connection, but it was like they're not hugging or anything like that because they both felt so awkward like initiating that. So I thought, yeah, I don't think Saoirse's the type of person who would have been running around hugging people. So
She's not a serial hugger, apparently.
nope.
Yeah.
Not like some people we know, but weirdos. Man. So fun fact, my Instagram name is literally Danny Hugs Strangers. So that's been giving me a hard time. But well, thank you for the credit.
Little shameless plug there.
Oh, it's private. No. I mean, you can look me up, but don't mean I'm gonna friend you.
Yeah, hugs are one thing, but friends on Instagram, that's entirely
Yeah. Don't know if I want to get that close.
different. So, all right. Robert, what about you?
Well, I kind of have to go for a twofer between Ben playing this guy as the sketchiest guy in a long time, but also at the same point, it was hilarious with everybody like not understanding Saoirse's word choices.
Oh man. Oh.
The not understanding Saoirse's accent today and the jokes around that were just making me laugh.
Yeah.
I was enjoying that.
I kind of had some regret about that. I wish I had role played it like her being like, "What do you mean? Speaking clear as day." Like just like confusion at it, like
Clear as mud. Yep.
hot cup of mud. If it happens again in the future, that'll probably be how I decide to role play it. Be her just being like frustrated, like I'm speaking clearly, like what are you talking about? It's not my fault you aren't listening, or something like that.
You have
Oh,
been summoned
dear.
in a meme, Danielle.
What'd you say?
You have been summoned in a meme.
Oh, great.
All right, Ethan, what about you?
The rock paper scissors fight.
Oh man,
I forgot
I
about
already
that. That
forgot
was
about the
good.
rock paper scissors fight, which we have to finish eventually because it's in a tie right now. It needs to go in our notes for next time. Character development.
Part of me definitely wanted you to just be like, hold on a second, Eric, and finish the last round.
It was on the tip of Nero's tongue. It was on the tip of my tongue for Nero saying it, but I decided that she was being good then.
She's being good.
Yeah.
She deferred to Saoirse in that moment.
She'd had enough of taste of her own foot that evening. She decided just gonna try and be quiet a little longer.
Yep. Let the smart thinky people do the smart thinky things.
Oh my word.
All right, Danielle, what about your favorite?
Oh man. Okay. That's really hard. I really okay, so I have a twofer as well. On the one hand, I really liked um I'll say my first place favorite. There we go. My first place favorite was definitely the role play opportunity between Saoirse and Nero, and kind of looking into the concept of like I can't heal everyone. So I thought that was fun to get to do. And also some good character development there. Also getting to like actually utilizing the Roll20 text box, the typing there instead of I guess I appreciated that it gave room for Robert and Ethan to be more involved in the role play. So I did like the first hug in years and all that stuff, but my second favorite was Brother Nick Santa Clausing it up and fixing the music box. 'Cause that just warms my heart.
Yeah.
Overall, lots of really good role playing. I know we didn't make it out of the apartment, but the fact that we made it into the apartment is progress. We made contact with someone who knows Boris. We got we're paying for a thing that we can take with us, so hopefully we can make more contact. Yeah. Oh my word! I just saw the is Cade is sack of tax on the.
I haven't seen that.
No, on
Oh,
our
man.
Roll20 page, I did not see until just now. Nero is Nero.
Oh.
Cade is sack of tax.
Wow, I don't even remember when I put that there.
Yeah, it's been there ever
That
since.
had to be like a
I
month and a half ago to 2
Oh,
months
man.
ago now.
Just fun. I was like over here being like,
Texted Narrow is narrow, so I did Cage is the sack attack. And something about that was said during the session, so I was like, why not?
oh my word. That is the best Easter egg I have seen in this entire campaign.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's when you guys
Well,
left
thanks.
Tabuk.
Was that was when we left Tabuk, wasn't it? Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, Cade, I know you're used to having a personality like a sack of tax, but could you try to smooth yourself out a bit and be more welcome? And
Yeah, it was that leaving flight, yeah.
oh, that's so good. Oh my word. Oh, I feel like we're gonna at some point gonna need to have like group T-shirts or group mugs or something, and we definitely need to have like a "Hello, my name is" on there, and we need to have like different quotes from the game. Like Cade's has
Sack
to be
attacks.
"sack of tax." Yeah.
That would actually be fun to have like the name of the character and maybe a nickname for the character on the front of the shirt, and then on the back just have several of their most popular or notable quotes.
Oh yes, that'd be good. Hello, my name is. Oh no, I have an idea.
I was just thinking that.
Oh man. Or
Oh,
that's
okay.
right, get flirted. Oh my word.
All right,
Sorry.
I guess I've got to do mine. So I was gonna just generally say the dense role playing I really enjoyed. How which was included using the text while other people were communicating with NPCs and
I was
stuff.
gonna say dense as in like quantity or dense as in stupidity. It's like
As yeah,
we
as
weren't
in
pretending to be stupid. That was pure grass-fed stupidity.
Well,
what? I would
That
never
was
say anything like
organic,
that.
no,
fair traded density.
that's how I roll Planero.
Never let it be said that I don't have any ability to be nuanced.
All right. So anyway, dense roleplay.
Anyway,
Mm.
but I do think that my favorite moment has I just have to go to the rock paper scissors game because that was just the last thing that I expected you guys to do.
Well, I wasn't gonna magic a hamster wheel for her in this guy's tiny apartment. I was like, okay, I cannot do that.
Yeah.
What can I do? Quick, distract her. It's a game.
Yeah, no, I was like, maybe they'll want to poke around or quick have a huddled whispered conference or something.
Rock, paper, scissors.
But rock paper
I
scissors.
almost said rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. And then
I was
like,
gonna reference that too, but I kept my mouth shut.
yeah, I was like, wait a minute, copyright infringement, and also, would Narrow really be up for 5 options?
No.
Let's be realistic.
I wonder which one she would have picked. Still scissors every time.
I love the concept of it's absolutely not something that should placate Nero, because it's just not running around. It's not really burning any energy, but it's also a game of implied violence. So it does catch her attention.
That's hilarious.
Hmm.
Also, we're distracting her mentally from the fact that her body needs to burn off energy. I'm just gonna say, as a toddler, as a tiny human wrangler, trust me when I say,
Does that work?
distraction is a powerful, powerful tool. Just gonna say.
Yep, seen it work.
Oh man. This was a super fun session, guys. I have been really down because we've been sick. I mean, like, my kids and I have been sick for over a week now and feeling like crud, and this was really fun. It really made my day. So, thanks.
Yep, bright spot of the week.
Yeah. Now, if we ever wanted to do like a twofer in a week, if anyone's ever free on a Friday night when it's not one of Ethan's games, just saying, could be fun. But, Dex over here is Mr. Popular, so don't know if he has any open time slots available this
Pretty sure
week.
he's playing another game Friday nights, right?
That
Playing it.
campaign actually came to a close also. We're gearing up for round 2 of that GM running the game. But he's not planning on running until late June, early July. I can't remember exactly when.
Oh, wow.
So I'm technically free, but
Bruh, you should take that for sabbatical. Like, you should be like, Friday nights are mine.
I am, but for the wrong reasons. I'm
no.
using all this extra time to plan my next campaign.
I knew it.
My
I was gonna
word.
say he's definitely using that time as session prep for his Dark Star stuff.
Yep.
Oh my.
So is this next one gonna be called Dark Star 2.0 or?
No, it's a Dark Star War.
Oh. Dark Star Wars?
No.
No.
No, there are no Star Wars. Those words aren't even in the title of Dark Star War.
But the
Okay.
next time you see a war star approaching, you should run.
Let's say that's Snow Star.
It's a Dark Star.
Oh no.
Mm.
We're no help. I'm sorry, Dex. You're terrible.
We can consider the session officially concluded, though we might stick around for a couple more minutes and chit
Okay.
chat.
Good.
And if anybody needs to pop off,
I'll go
Pop
ahead
off
and.
on
be
Ben.
held
Don't
liable.
pop off on me, because you'll catch these hands.
Yeah, I would. More like catch something you threw with those hands.
True. He's not wrong.
I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here.
Go for it.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.